1 week after Hurricane Sandy swept through the Garden State, we're still seeing downed power lines. The entire borough is underwater. As you may have heard, a levee broke overnight. And you can see here we're standing on Ocean Avenue, known as the main thoroughfare throughout this popular shore town. You can see these beautiful homes are lined with pieces of boardwalk in front of them. The sand has been piled up and in this economic recession, experts say a lot of businesses have to take a look at their reflection, turn around and try something a little more creative. So he, like many of the subjects here, sat down with the artist one-on-one. And through these portraits, people can get an intimate look into their lives without having them go through the whole story. Now, one of the ways you can assess the damage already done to your skin is through technologies like this. The 3D viewer reveals the skin's topography, showing what's beneath the surface. A lot of times what criminals do is they come up from behind and try to snatch the cell phone. Under this change, if they do that, they will face up to 5 years in prison. This is also one of the synagogues that was spray painted with anti-Semitic marks back during Hanukkah. Now, Victor has worked with some of the council members to draft a new ordinance that would make this arrangement completely legal. But if you were told that typically around this time of year, the water is up to where this stone wall is, you would understand.
How you doing? How you doing? I heard you were pretty impressed by Booker saving some people from
Hell yeah.
And not only was Newark represented during this season, but the winner is from New York, New York. Every time firefighters at Squad 18 in Greenwich Village return home, they think of the ones who did not. On September 11th, 2001, 7 of their own died.
Especially around this time of year, even the weather reminds you. A clear day like this, it brings you right back 11 years ago.
And on tomorrow's 11th anniversary, hundreds of thousands who survived but are suffering from cancer are expected to learn they too could be eligible for help from the federal government.
If the science shows that that's the case, which it's starting to be pretty apparent that that's the case, there was a toxic stew down there.
Previously, health officials cited a lack of scientific evidence to support a link between cancer and the toxic dust unleashed by the collapse of the Twin Towers. That means those suffering cancer could not benefit from the federal government's $4.3 billion program created under the Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Act. But tomorrow, reports say the Institute for Occupational Safety and Health will announce the inclusion of 50 different types of cancer. Now, since 9/11, about 400 first responders and people who live near Ground Zero have died. And just last week, the FDNY added 9 firefighters' names to the memorial. Meanwhile, for those still on the job, the impacts of 9/11 never fade, because they never know if they too will become victims.
Yeah, we're all just walking time bombs. Every time I keep my fingers crossed every time I go for my medical.
I want it fixed so I can go home.
Helene Montague is one of at least 70 homeowners in the Lake Hiawatha section of Parsippany whose lives have been turned upside down since Hurricane Irene hit and the Rockaway River took over their homes. Nearly 1 year later, some are living in trailers, hotels, and apartments.
There's no bathrooms, there's no floors, there's no water, there's no walls in most places, there's no floors in most places, there's no kitchen.
For Helene, this was exacerbated. Her husband, who helped finish much of her home, was diagnosed with melanoma brain tumors the day after Irene and died shortly after. She's even had squatters.
So I haven't been able to address what needs to get done.
About 13% of funds from FEMA for New Jersey are going to Parsippany. That's about $7.2 million for 50 or so homes in the area to be razed or bought out. Today, federal officials, including Democratic Senator Robert Menendez, came to see where that money is going.
What do people like us do? We're stuck. We haven't been allowed in our house. We had 42 inches of water. Where do we turn?
The town's given the homeowners a choice. We're not telling them they have to leave. If they would like to elevate their homes, we want to do that, and we're going to help them to stay.
I've tried to do this on a number of occasions. I've hired architects. I've hired a contractor. I'm ready to go. And I'm being told over and over again, you can't if you want help.
The problem now seems to be on a local level, where officials have to evaluate what kind of funding a home is eligible for.
But I'm tired and I want to go home.
Reporting in the Lake Hiawatha section of Parsippany, I'm Lisa Wojtycki for WNBC News. If they weren't lining New York's Broadway, they were lining up outside MetLife Stadium today in East Rutherford.
Blue right there, that's Die-Hard fan right there.
It was nothing but die-hard fans waiting for hours to get inside the stadium to see their beloved champions. For many, like this family, that meant 8 a.m. arrival time.
My son told his teacher, I'm not coming in tomorrow. She said, why? Going to the parade. She was like, great, take pictures.
The stadium fits 82,000 people. Today, fans could park for free and enter for free to see their favorite players back on their home turf.
Go G-Men, 4 rings, baby. Let's go Giants! Vince Lombardi right there.
And right up there with that ring, the legendary Vince Lombardi Super Bowl trophy. Now, you hoping to get a glimpse of the real one of this?
Oh, yes, definitely. We'll probably put it right next to it.
Meanwhile, Ike Lester from Teaneck, New Jersey, making good use of some leftovers from his winning Super Bowl dinner.
We got beans here. We got chicken, skirt steak.
Plenty of Super Bowl 46 gear getting good use just 2 days after the Giants' win against the Patriots. Some fans screaming so loud they were turning blue. And while the parade is here in New Jersey, you'd be surprised how many people ditched the parade in New York from New York and came here to see this.
Well, I live in New York with 100 million people in the city. Not happening.
I'm from New York City, and I'm here to celebrate the Giants.
This guy brought what he calls his lucky jersey. It's number 10, but it's not Eli Manning.
It's about 40 years old, and I've been wearing it for almost every Giant home game.
Think it brought them good luck this time?
Definitely. Superstitious is big time in the NFL.